everybody, welcome to our next A Café with Alumni video. Today I have with me Tara. Welcome, Tara.
Thank you, Anna.
She will be talking about our bachelor's degree. Do you mind to introduce yourself, Tara?
Hi everyone, my name is Tara Honeywell. I'm originally from New York City and I moved here in 2018 to attend this program at Cordon Bleu London and Birkbeck University of London.
Perfect, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now we will go through the questions, if you don't mind. So why did you choose to study this bachelor's degree?
So I decided to change careers after spending a little over 20 years in the financial and management industry. I was also running an event planning company with one of my best friends for about 10 years. By running that company, it gave me insight into hospitality and I developed my passion for culinary arts as well. This is the only program in the world at the time, and I believe still currently is, that gives you a full 360-degree perspective of what it's like to be a chef as well as a restaurateur and on the business side of the industry.
And how was the change coming from New York to London?
Well, I had been to London previously on holiday, twice before. Once when I graduated university, long time ago. And last time was in 2015, I believe. So I was accustomed to the city itself. As far as living here, London is very similar to New York City. It's very diverse in food, in culture, in people. So the only challenging was probably like the way you are living here, as far as your flats and things like that. But other than that, is nothing really. Yeah. So
great, thank God.
Yes.
Maybe it was a good change for you.
Yeah. I mean, after growing up in America, and at the time I was 41 when I moved here, it was nice to live in another country, you know, to just try to experience something new in life, you know?
That's always good.
Yeah.
Perfect. And how was your experience at Le Cordon Bleu London?
So for me, I hadn't been in uni for 20 years at that point. So it was a little different to be back on a campus and to be around, I would say, younger generation, but as well as people of my own age, because Birkbeck's program is for working adults and for more mature students, if you want to call it. Mm-hmm. So I'm at Le Cordon Bleu. It was just always warm and welcoming, a great opportunity to socialize with students and chefs from different backgrounds and to just kind of gain insight in the industry.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And how has the knowledge gained from the bachelor's degree helped your career? So
I have previous management experience, so the modules offered from Birkbeck kind of enhanced that for me. Mm-hmm. Specifically, you know, more into like marketing, financial accounting, things like that. It helped me to learn about time management, mm-hmm. teamwork, and consistency within the industry. Being a chef, it's about knowing how to manage your time throughout the day. It's about knowing how to work well with others, within a team, leading a team, managing a team, and producing dishes consistently. Every dish has to be the same every single time. And that is something that only comes with practice. And the classes at Le Cordon Bleu really give you that foundational experience for you to be able to achieve that.
And was it a big change for you?
Yes, because when you are a financial consultant or running an event planning company, mm-hmm. you are working most of the time independently or you are running a team. You are not working within the team. Whereas when you are a chef working in a kitchen, it is all about working well with others and being a part of a team to get the dishes out to your customer. As far as the time management, not so much, because I'm used to having to meet deadlines and as far as like financial reports, and I had clients and things like that. I was already very detail oriented and organized. Consistency, yes, because when you are a home chef, yes, you make dishes repetitively, but I'm sure it's not coming out the exact same unless you are a baker every time. When you are making dishes in a kitchen, you have to produce it the same every single time. It has to look the same on the plate every single time, or a customer will say, when I was here 2 weeks ago, this dish looked different or it tasted different. So that would be difficult, I think, for anybody who is not a professional chef.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And how do you think that the Bachelors compares to other courses?
Well, it doesn't compare to any other course because there is no other course like this degree program, which is why I chose this program in the first place. When I made the decision to pursue this career, I did extensive research, as I am someone that is a researcher, and I found that Le Cordon Bleu London and Birkbeck University of London was the only institution in the world that gave you the opportunity to get a full perspective on how to be a chef, as well as how to run a restaurant business or to just work in hospitality.
How exciting.
Yeah, it really was when I started, yes.
And what was your best experience on the course?
So if I think back to my time in theory classes with the chefs at Le Cordon Bleu London, I specifically remember Chef Anthony. He's one of the Welsh chefs there. He's been there for many years. He was one of the best storytellers, always pulling stories from his childhood and time in the industry to give us further knowledge, about food and science. And when we were studying meat, red meat, and we were going over parts of the cow, he literally acted out being a cow. So kind of on all fours, and we had to know the parts of the cow because this was going to be on an exam, and we also were about to cook in the kitchen.
Of course.
So he was moving his body like this, and he was saying, okay, so this is where filet mignon comes from, it's over here in the middle because, it's the most tender. And this is the rump. Yeah. So from him doing that, when it was time for my exam, they literally had a picture of a cow on there, and you had to label each part. And I just recalled that whole scene from class, and I was able to recall, the parts of the cow. But that shows you how storytelling can really help you, retain knowledge, versus just reading something from a book or something. So, yeah, that was one of the best experiences. We all loved Chef Anthony. He's great.
I mean, he will be happy to know that too.
I think he knows that he's good.
Even better then.
Yes.
And what was the most important thing that you learned?
A strong foundation in culinary science and how to really apply different ingredients or bring ingredients together, things that you naturally wouldn't think of on your own, and how to really write a recipe, things like that, which most people wouldn't think of to do, to bring a canapé, a starter, a main, a dessert together in one menu. So that's pretty amazing to learn as a chef in training, to learn how to do something like that. From the Birkbeck side, right now, I would say the most important thing for me is the management and teamwork, because I'm applying that every single day at work. Being a part of a team, learning how to work with others, identifying what role each team member plays, and how to bring out strengths and weaknesses within each other, and how to lead and inspire each other every day. So we want to come to work and do these 14-hour shifts weekly. So yeah. I
understand how it's helpful. Okay, and what is an average day on the course like?
So Le Cordon Bleu, it would be 3 hours of theory, and then you have a dinner break. So class would start at 3 p.m. and then you'd get a break around 6. And then by 5:30, you are in the kitchen and you are replicating what you have just learned. So it's about a 7-hour day, 3 to 10, something like that.
Okay.
3 times a week. And then you would have your 1 or 2 business classes over at Birkbeck, which is a 10-minute walk from the campus. And that is in an auditorium style seating. Some of the courses are broken down into seminars, so you spend 90 minutes in an auditorium, with PowerPoint, and then you have 90 minutes in what they call seminars, where it's more interactive and hands-on, doing examples and things like that. And those courses would run from 6 to 9 p.m. So we also had wine and beverage courses, which was taught by a master sommelier. I can't remember his name.
Matthew.
Matthew. Yes, Matthew. He was great. Learned a lot from him. We also had courses taught by Dr. Thomas and global food and beverage, history of like hospitality, like how it began in the world, and also like just how to manage a restaurant from capacity, from reading profit and loss statements, basically everything on the front of house side, if that makes sense. And so like you have your back of house, which is your chef taught by the chefs, and then you have your front of house taught by Dr. Thomas, also from Matthew, and I believe Nitin, he covered a couple of courses as well. We also talked about like food trends, going on in the industry, and we would do team presentations, so trends as far as like plant-based, fermentation, basically kind of anything that's going on in the world right now, and is it a trend or is it something that's going to like stay here forever? So
sounds really exciting.
Yeah, it was a lot of knowledge, but interesting knowledge, so if you are someone that really, really does love food and hospitality, none of the courses are boring, because everything they teach you, it's like a wow, I didn't know that. Oh, like that's so cool, so yeah.
Perfect. And do you mind to explain us a little bit about the different modules? So, because you had like mandatory modules and also voluntary as well?
Yes. So mandatory was the accounting, the management, obviously the culinary practicals are mandatory. Wine and beverage was mandatory. Marketing was mandatory. You can opt to take services marketing, branding, if you wanted to learn how to build your own brand. I think sustainability was mandatory, which is amazing to me because I'm very passionate about sustainability in the food supply chain and in the industry as a whole. But overall, like I said, all the courses are very interesting and applicable to what you are doing in the industry. Whether you are a chef, whether you are a food and beverage manager, whether you are running a catering company, every single course can help you no matter which one you pick. Even though at the time it may not seem that it will, like the management classes, in the beginning, all of us were saying to ourselves, how are we going to use this in real life though? Yes, I'm using it in real life right now. So yeah, don't discount what you are learning. Everything is useful. Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And another question, what did you find most challenging during your time at Le Cordon Bleu London?
So for me, it was doing the practicals and having someone literally stand over your shoulder, and I mean like right here, watching you use a knife, watching you prepare a dish, watching your every single move. And it's really kind of intimidating. It can make you anxious. I was quite anxious the first couple of months. You just kind of have to your confidence will build up after a while, right? Because, this is a completely new environment for most people to be in a professional kitchen.
Of course.
So crockery is different. The hob is different. The oven is different. You have to be taught how to use all this new equipment. So you're learning that, but then you're recalling, they just taught me how to do this dish. I have to do this dish and use all this equipment, and they're watching me from my head to my toe. Like, am I washing my hands properly? Am I clean? Is my area clean? Am I organized? Things like that. So that was really, for me, the most challenging part, to just kind of overcome, that kind of anxiety. But, after a few months in, You get to feel comfortable, you know where things are, so when it's time to walk in, you know exactly where to go, exactly how to set up your station, and you just like crack on what you got to do. Yeah, so.
Perfect. So what opportunities open up after you graduating?
So while I was studying, I was working part-time at a private members club in central London, and I started as a commis chef, and so I was working in between larder and pastry. And then once I graduated, first in class, I might add.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very proud of that. I updated my CV and I put it on LinkedIn, and due to the pandemic, chefs were in shortage, so a lot of restaurants were looking for chefs. So I don't want to say luckily, but it kind of was like one of the positives in the sense that like you had a lot of opportunity as a chef to, you know, get a job. So the executive chef at Soho House in Shoreditch found my CV on LinkedIn, reached out to me directly, brought me in for an interview, and I also got job offers as front of house manager. So, but I chose to be a chef de partie because I wanted to gain more experience in the kitchen and just kind of what it's like to really work in a team and producing dishes like at a high volume versus one dish at a time, or, you know, when you're a commis, yeah, you're doing, and larder is more of starters, soup, salad, sandwiches. You know, as a chef de partie at Soho House, it was much more technical dishes. So I wanted to gain that experience.
Sounds good. And also that you had all these opportunities to choose from.
Yes. So I think it's mostly due to the degree, because when people see Le Cordon Bleu London, and hopefully Birkbeck University of London as well, but as a chef, from that perspective, Le Cordon Bleu London says a lot. You don't really have to, I mean, my chef didn't even check my references. Just the fact that,
wow.
he saw that, and that's why he's like, oh, so I see you graduated from here, you know, that means you know your stuff. I mean,
and you do.
Yeah, you know, being taught by French chefs, you know, from a world-renowned institution is a big deal.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's an add-on on your CV.
For sure, yeah.
And in your opinion, Tara, what was the best part of studying this bachelor's degree?
Just giving me the full perspective, you know, of the industry on a whole. Knowing what it takes to run a restaurant. Knowing what it really means to be a chef. How being a chef is really not all glamorous as it seems to be on the television, on these shows that they have. How much hard work you have to put in, but how well it pays off, you know? And just how to better, like, work with others and manage people, and really think about how well front of house and back of house have to work together. Mm-hmm. A lot of times they do not communicate well with each other, and that affects service. So when you are a chef, but you are thinking about them as well, I think it's a real add-on and a real benefit for you. And this course really gives you that insight on how to do that.
That's fantastic.
Thanks.
And I think it's also really useful. Like
very much so.
Every single career.
Very much so, because, you know, a lot of times front of house, you know, they put orders in and all these modifications, substitutions, and then they expect you to turn out these dishes in the same amount of time as you would a standard dish. But they don't understand that now you are starting from scratch on certain things. They don't understand timings of things, of, you know, why is it taking so long? Because it takes this long to make this. You know what I mean? Like, so and for us, it's like we're putting the food up on the pass. Where is the runner? Why is this person not here? You know, so when you understand better how each side works, then you're not so hard on each other and you have more respect for each other. And that's a huge thing. So,
totally.
Yeah.
And it makes the difference as well.
Oh, for sure. Because without a team, you are nothing. You in this industry, at least. In other industries, you may not need to be, you can be independent. But in this industry, without a good team, you're nothing. You will never get your food out. You will have horrible service. No one will come to your restaurant.
I totally agree. And now this is one of my favorite questions. What are the exams like at Birkbeck and at Le Cordon Bleu London?
So at Birkbeck, they prepare you very well. They give you all the information you need to study for the exam. So if you listen to the tutor and you follow the instructions, you will do well. At Le Cordon Bleu, the practicals, like I said, were right after the theory. So it's an exam in the sense that you are getting graded, but there's no like prior preparation. The sit-down exams, the food, the wine and beverage, you had to recall everything, and it was just kind of like on paper, right? So you were like in a class setting, timed. At Birkbeck, same thing, like some of the classes, the exams are off-site, and it's timed with a proctor. You sit at a desk with a booklet, and you have your questions, and you just go and you write. Sometimes it's not an exam, it's a paper, 3,000 words, however, whatever it is, and they give you 3 to 5 questions. You must answer 3, or they give you 1 question and you just have to go. Everything has to be submitted by a certain time, and if you do submit papers late, you will be penalized for it by a pretty decent percentage. So here's where the time management also comes into play as well, and being organized. But yeah, you just have to be disciplined, and you have to study. You cannot leave things for the last minute. If you are a good student, and you really are here to learn, you will do well on the exam.
Definitely, of course.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give to someone looking to follow in your footsteps?
I would say this course is for you if you are passionate about hospitality as a whole. Not just about being a chef, but about hospitality, because chefs are in hospitality. It's not just cooking. There's so much more that goes along with that. I would say that it's for anyone from any background. I have previous management and financial experience, so obviously that helps me a lot on the business side of the industry. But I mean, you can come from, let's say you're just a baker, right? We had a baker in our class. That would help him too, because all he knew how to do was to bake. So now you're learning how to do cuisine as well. Now you're learning how to, if you want to open up your own bakery, now you know how to do that. So I think for me, it's all about the passion. You have to really want to be here to do this. It's not an easy course. You read the modules online and you read the description, but you have to understand that you have to put the time in and you have to put the effort in, and you have to be consistent, and you have to set these standards for yourself that you want to meet, so.
That's a great advice. Thank you so much. And finally, what are your plans for the future?
So currently I'm a senior chef de partie at Soho House. Originally when I started the program, I was going to become a restaurateur, but things have changed and I decided to gain more experience and knowledge as a chef. But as a chef de partie, you don't really get exposure to the business side. So after having a talk with my executive chef, he decided to promote me to kitchen manager. So that way he thinks I'm a strong chef, but he also knows that I have all this experience that I've learned from Birkbeck and Le Cordon Bleu and from my prior life. So, and I can put it into practice. So I will be splitting my time doing about 2 days in the kitchen and 3 days doing food costings, menu writings, working with suppliers, making sure the kitchen is up to EHO standards, things like that. So I can't say years from now, but right within this year, it will be kitchen manager, and who knows what will happen from there.
We never know.
Exactly.
But at the moment, wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So thank you very much all for watching, and we hope to see you soon at Le Cordon Bleu London. Bye.